Hello everyone, it's Thal McRom, and we're back in The Last Plague, Blight. And I did a video on this previously. As a matter of fact, you can even see the game I started here on the continue game from our previous video. I've been playing it off recording just because it didn't seem like something people wanted to become a series. But we're back in the game because, well, one, I love this game. It's a great survival game. And two, they just released a major update 2 days ago on the 16th. At the time of recording this, I'm recording this on the 18th. Now, this is going to go live on Saturday, the 21st, so, you'll have it even a couple days after that. But they've now added NPC camps in the game, so you can find other survivors who have tried to escape the plague, and they have little camps. And in addition to that, they've added the ability to trade and barter with said survivors. So we're actually going to start a brand new game again today to go and explore this. Now, we don't have to. Technically, these camps will appear in my saved game that I've got going, but you're more likely to encounter them in a new world. So we're going to do that, just because. Also, I've made some... In hindsight, I've made some mistakes in my current playthrough that I'm going to account for in a new game. So we're just going to do a new game, and we'll do... standard difficulty. And last time I gave us the option to have like a map. So this time what I think we'll do, well, I like having the map. And we'll leave it on less realistic so I can have the map. Starting season is fine. We're going to hide tutorials. We're going to skip all tutorials. That's fine. There we go. So let's begin. Alright, so it's generating the world, because the world is randomly generated each time it moves things around. Now, there are certain rules it follows when generating the map, so there will be certain things on the map at all times. And something else that they've added that is brand new is character customization. So we actually get to customize our character. You can actually now have a female character as well, or a male character. You get to change your skin tone. You can do your eye color as well. I think I'll go with the green. You can get some hairstyles here. Oh, we can go bald. Can we spin this around? Yeah, alright. Kind of like that one. That one will work. And we do hair colors. I like to go kind of a charcoal myself. Ooh, I like the gray. Gray will work. Alright. Still no beard, though. Sad. A sad day. They won't let me have a beard. Alright, well, I'm not going to spend too much time customizing it. But let's just hit begin. There we go. There's our character. And then if we check our map, it'll show us where we are at. We are up here in the far north. And this was our hometown, so it always marks your hometown. And we actually have a lot of coastline this time. This is a very different layout than what I had last time. This actually isn't too bad of a starting position, though, because we've got a lot of hills over here, which will be good for mining. We've got some forest here. The main problem that we've got is no easy access to swamp. Well, there's some swamp down here. That's kind of a far walk, though. And there's some swamp over there, but that's across a river. It's going to be mildly problematic, but we can work around this. All right. So what I think we might do is we might head south past our house and go, like, live down in this forested area here, because that'll give us close to the river. So, although this river access up here is not too bad. We did start off next to some blight, though. That is unfortunate. Alright, well, let's get to exploring here. We'll zoom in a little bit. Let me also turn on the thing so we can actually see stuff. Alright, so let's grab some pine cones, because these pine cones are actually a decent food source starting off here. Grab a couple long sticks as well. What do you mean there's not... Alright, I forgot we have the bedroll in here. Let's go ahead and open all those up. I'll just go ahead and eat all those, top off our food bar a little bit. Unfortunately, they are slightly contaminated. Alright, so now let's grab that long stick, grab some twigs, pick that pine cone up, please. Oh, we got some deer over there. That's nice. Grab some dog bane. Some regular sticks. And this is very not level terrain, and we want to find some good level terrain for building. There we go. Grab a couple more sticks here. Let's see here. Grab like one more. Alright, there we go. Just get kind of a little stash of everything here. Actually, we're going to reorganize this a little bit. There we go. Grab some more dog bane. So you need a lot of rope in this game. Grab some more pine cones. Oh, we got a bunch of clay right here. Ooh, this is really good. I wouldn't mind some clay. Alright. So we get some clay. How much clay did we get? Not quite enough. So let's grab some more clay. And the reason clay is super important is how we're going to make, like, our long-term tools and... No, I don't want dirt. Not dirt. And things like pots and storage vessels. So you can use storage vessels. This is something I figured out in my previous playthrough to get... to basically preserve food better. Because it took me forever to, like... Because, you know, you start with a bunch of cured sausage and stuff, and I was like, how do we make more cured sausage? You know, because clearly it's something you're supposed to be able to make in the game. And you can. You need salt and a storage vessel to make cured sausage. As I found out the hard way. Alright. I get all the clay. Looks like I got all the clay. And that's not a bad amount of clay either. Alright. Now, let's go find a place to kind of make our more permanent home. Honestly, like, if it would be easier to cross the river, I'd totally consider doing it across the river. Main problem is we don't want to get wet right now. Because getting wet will cause our hatchet and our knife to rust, and we don't really want to do that. Not right now. Alright, let's also grab ourselves a small rock here. If I can get over this little hump. There we go. And a large rock would also be useful. There we go. Can I get that small rock? I can. Perfect. Alright. Where are we looking? So we're kind of heading this way. And we still got a lot of clay, so that's good. So what I might do... I don't like how close I am to all that over there. The main problem is I've got a whole bunch of blight over there. And the blight will spread. You don't want to be too close to it. And this hardened pine resin is also very important for medical purposes here. Well, matter of fact, we'll go ahead and grab some just so we have that crafting recipe unlocked here. If I can get to where I can actually get my mouse on it. There it goes. Sometimes you gotta zoom in a little bit. There we go. And then you can grab that. You can grab like these orange mushrooms here, which are also a good food source, by the way. So there we go. They're a little contaminated, but it's okay. We're just gonna eat these real quick. But you can mix those with this pine resin to make a medical item. So let's see here. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to craft a stone bowl just to give us ourselves something to cook with right off the bat. It's always kind of like a first step type thing. There we go. Stone bowl acquired. That's an empty one. Go ahead and take the seeds out of these. There we go. Just go ahead and eat all of those real quick. It's also kindling. Yeah, the other thing we're going to need... We're going to need to find ourselves a good place to, like, live here. Yeah, we're heading further. So it looks like we actually probably want to go this way. Ooh, small sandstone chunk. I'll take that. So that small sandstone chunk will act as an impromptu sharpening stone. So we can resharpen our hatchet and our knife as needed. Now we're going to kind of want to be in this open area a little bit here. So I think I think over here might be kind of our initial home area here. And we got chamomile, which is good for healing, dandelions. Yeah, this isn't too bad. We're not too far away from the forest. We did have some coyotes wandering around in here before, but I think it will be alright. So we're going to start off making a couple things really quick here. So first things first, let's work on building something. We're going to need a shelter. And I think we'll start with a lean-to here. We got some coyotes over there. So we'll do like a little lean-to. There we go. Let's see, what else do we need? I want to examine it. There we go. So we need 2 more long sticks, 10 rope, and some pine branches. Well, that's easy enough to do. So let's go ahead and make the rope. We got 8 of them. There we go. And this is something I didn't do in my previous playthroughs. I went ahead and made like an actual like shelter using sticks and branches and stuff, which is fine. And is a long-term thing to do. But later on I realized I should have pushed towards having a shovel and leveling the ground. And, you know, hindsight's kind of 20/20 type of thing. So, short term, we're going to use this lean-to. Here, there we go. Let's go ahead and add that. Oh, we got a rabbit here. Another dog bane. And there's our other long stick, too, that we need right there. Perfect. And another dog bane. There we go. Beautiful. Add from inventory. Oh, I just hit the wrong button. There we go. Cool. Beautiful. Alright, so let's add that. So now we just need a few more sticks. Well, I'm going to grab this long stick just because we're going to need them anyways. I'm just going to kind of grab everything here. The other thing we're going to need to get ourselves a fire pit set up. Oh, we got a piece of flint over here. That's nice. We'll take the flint, too, because we can use that to start fires. A little more efficient than using sticks. We need these small stones. More small stones. Right now we're looking for normal sticks. There we go. And we got 1 long stick, so I'll grab 1 extra long stick here. There's a regular stick over there. Perfect. We can also break these long sticks into regular sticks. I usually don't because you need them a lot for like crafting and other things. Oh, we're gonna have space. Hold on. There we go. Make a little more space by auto sorting a little bit. And that's here. Oh, we also got some blueberry bushes over here. That's also great. So the reason I want all these sticks and stuff, multiple reasons. 1, obviously we're building that lean-to. And 2, we're also going to build a fish trap. Because one of the things I kind of figured out in my last playthrough, I kind of held off on building the fish trap for a long while, is that smoked fish in this game is kind of OP as a food. It lasts well, it has low blight per basically food value, so you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to like heal yourself with blight, which is there's a way to do that as you move on into the game. Especially as you have to do things that require you to go into more and more blight. There we go. Alright. Whereas like the rabbits and the coyotes and stuff, they're kind of high in like blight. Alright, you know, we're kind of out of space, so we'll come back for these rocks in a second. Oh, got a coyote over there. I'd rather not fight the coyote. Not yet. That'll be a later on type thing. Alright, let's add from inventory. Now we just need the twigs. Beautiful. Alright. The other thing we're going to want is we're going to want a fire pit here. So we'll go ahead and set one up. Get some small stones. Grab these sticks. Alright, let's see here. I'm going to start a little stockpile for these large sticks. Just to save them. There we go. We'll do the same thing for the clay in just a second as well. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and start a stockpile for the clay. We'll just put that like right here next to the tent. Beautiful. All right. Add to this. Come on. Add 6. Thank you. All right. Now let's go ahead and cut down this small tree real quick, because we'll use that to make some firewood, and it'll also get us the pine branches we need for our lean-to here, or at least some of them. And then lean-to will give us a place to set up our sleeping bag. All right. And then we're also going to want a stump anyways to use as an impromptu anvil as we get started. Get this pine branch here as well. Nope. There we go. Add from inventory. Beautiful. And then we're also going to go start a stockpile of just regular old sticks here. There we go. Right. Do the same thing with these twigs, just to get them out of the inventory for now. Beautiful. Alright, so this large tree will be great for firewood and stuff. So go and knock it down. So our first priority, once we get this, well, we got 2 priorities after we get this lean-to up. So we're going to get the lean-to up, then we're going to put our sleeping bag in it. And then we're going to make a fish trap. And then we're going to make a smoking rack. That way we can get some dried food going right off the bat. Alright, let's see here. Pine branch. Pine branch. All the pine branches. Go. There we go. Come on, pine branch. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the pine branch. There we go. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. That's... Well, we got them all. Perfect. So now we're going to have a lean-to, which will basically keep us dry when it rains and we sleep at night. It's not great, but it's a start. Long term, we'll want to flatten out a little area and build like a sort of house. There we go. Alright, so now, if we go into here, we can place this down like, well, let's not place it down just yet. This tree is in our lean-to. Let's move that real quick. Alright. There we go. Log and log. We'll go put these over here next to the fire pit, because these will become firewood anyways. There we go. Now let's put this in the lean-to place. Alright, come on. What is it? Shift. There we go. There we go. That should get us... Yeah, perfect. Alright, let's get some more stones now. We'll also grab these long sticks while we're at it here. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Actually take these long sticks out of my character's hand and just throw them in the inventory. There we go. Always do that. Alright, let's go get the rocks we need. So we need some small stones. Some more small stones. There we go. Another small stone. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to go harvest some of these blueberries here. So first off, that's going to increase our foraging skill, because that's the other thing they've kind of added over the years, is actual skill progression. And skills do things like if you get really good at foraging, you get a chance of getting extra forage items. You also forage faster. Like as you get better at leatherworking, you do your leatherworking faster, all that kind of stuff. And it's really useful. And these blueberry bushes are going to be really good. And I'd rather not fight you, coyote. Alright. Come on, if you're going to come on. So you kind of want to wait and swing until they get... Oh. Come here. Alright, where you go? There he is. Alright, well now we gotta heal ourselves. Hold on. You can find a dog vein real quick. Dog vein. There we go. Alright. We need a rope. And then we need this bandage. Alright, so we got a scrape. Let's heal that up real quick. But as I was saying, so the blueberries can be juiced into various things and used for various purposes. There we go. So that'll heal up nicely now. In this case, I'm going to use them to make some blueberry juice. I'm just going to juice them real quick. And that's so that I can get something to drink, without having to, like, boil water just yet. Alright. Do I have enough stones? I do. Perfect. There we go. Alright, let's grab this dog bane. And that dog bane. Oh, there's another small stone over here. There we go. Let's grab that one. It's always good to have like an extra small stone or two. So I could eat these, but again, they're gonna make me slightly sick. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna craft up a ton of them into juice. We can crush. So we can do 40. We can do 20, realistically. Because that's what this bowl will hold. What are those over there? Those look large. In the background there. Those deer again? If I wasn't crafting, I'd be able to see what they are. But anyways, so you need salt to make things like this cured sausage. But basically, you store it in a jar with salt and it'll become cured and it'll last a lot longer, but it dehydrates you slightly. But, take what you can get. And you can also do that with other cooked foods. It has to be specifically cooked foods. Where are we at? Right, 160, so I can do 4 more. There we go. I just want to do a full bowl, because we're going to drink it all. Because this, if you notice, unlike the blueberries, which have a blight rating, this has no blight rating. It's kind of a cheap way to get some water from your blueberries without getting any blight. Unfortunately, you don't get any food value. But we're going to go ahead and eat the rest. Even though that's going to give us a little bit of blight. But at this point, we need the food. There we go. Alright. Cool, so that takes care of that. Put this back in our inventory. Now, the other thing we're going to want to do is we are going to build a smoke rack right here. What else do we need? Oh, let me examine it, please. So, add from inventory. So, we need some more sticks and a bunch more dog bane. That's fine. There we go. We're going to get this. And then our next goal is going to be the fish trap. Because right now we've got enough food. We'll be okay for a few days. But ideally we are going to want a stable supply of food. And the fish trap will get us that. This is my experience. Now, I would be surprised if the devs eventually nerf the fish trap a little bit. Because the fish trap is just really good as far as getting food goes. If you're living near water, which honestly in this game you probably should be living near water. Just gonna keep grabbing sticks here. And the reason I'm grabbing these long sticks is because we're going to save them, because they go into a lot of the crafting projects, like when you want to build like a house or something. You know, the other thing I tend to keep a lot of around are the pine branches, because again, they're just really good to have. Let's see here, all these empty. Yeah, those are all empty. Let's see what we can find here. We need some more sticks. There's some sticks right there. That's our normal stick. Take that. Because eventually we're also going to want to get a saw and get some planks. Ran out of space for long sticks. That's fine. I have more space for dogbane? I do. I definitely have more space for dogbane. And dogbane's one of those things I wish I knew how to grow it in the game. But I don't think you can. I think you just have to forage it. And we got some blight down there. So, again, we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on it. The blight can move around and expand. Which is a slight problem. Let's see here. Get some more sticks. Because we're going to need, like, a bunch of sticks anyways to build the fish trap, as well as a bunch of dogbane and stuff. The other reason I kind of wanted to settle near these mountains, because I want to see if I can't find a cave. Because caves are going to be very important later on, too. Oh, we finally ran out of space. Hold on. Yep, we are out of space for sticks. We can get like 2 more dogbane, though. There we go. Alright. Let's head on. The other thing that's really important are these dandelions, because that's how you get salt. And then wild garlic. The wild garlic you can use to basically make better food, as well as some other things. Oh, come here. That's what I wanted. There we go. So we'll just need 2 more sticks, and then the dogbane. So let's go ahead and get the ropes going here. I'm just going to turn all this into rope right away, because we need all the ropes anyways. And I like this game because I'm sure, as people who've been following my channel for a while might know, I did do a couple small series on Unreal World, which is another like survival game dealing with a lot of, you know, kind of primitive technology, Iron Age technology and stuff. And I like this game because it has a similar feel, but with the graphical interface, it works better for me. Because I tried to get good at Unreal World, but I just was not particularly good at it. However, it's alright. But this game has a lot of similarities in like how deep it is and stuff and whatnot. Just some of the things you can do. It's not as deep. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty close. Alright, let's see here. We have enough ropes. Alright, so we just need 2 more sticks. Well, we can fix that. There's our 2 sticks. Done. Add craft. Get this going here. There we go. I do like how your character like has like the whole building animation where you like take time and you build it and stuff. And there we go. Now the next thing we're going to make, what do we need to make the fish trap? Fish trap. So we need 12 sticks, which I think we can do, and 4 ropes, which I think we have. So let's see here. What was that over there? That's a boar. Okay. The boar, thankfully, is not aggressive. Oh, it was the deer wandering past over there. Boars are thankfully not too aggressive. They can be dangerous, though. You don't want to fight the boars too much. Let's go ahead and do this to get some more sticks. And because I'm going to need the pine needles to light the fire anyways. So first things first, let's go ahead and put the pine needles in there. Yep. And then let's go ahead and... because I'm going to get this fire ready really quick. Because we're going to want it before we go to bed. And kind of once you get a campfire going, that's kind of how it starts the storyline, because there's a storyline of what's going on. Basically, there's a group of people trying to stop the blight, you know, kind of a deal. All right, now let's make some sticks. We have 2. We need 12. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I know we're using up my long sticks. I'll get over it. All right, there we go. And now we're going to create this fish trap. There we go. Fish trap. Well, that thing takes up a ton of space in the inventory, doesn't it? We're going to put that on our belt, and we're just going to put the knife on our belt. There we go, main hand, and then here's how this works. So we come down here to the shoreline. We're going to go over here where it's a little shorter. We're going to right-click this, and we're going to go place. And we're just going to put it like right here. There we go. And see, now it's just going to sit there and it'll catch fish over time. Now let's come over here. Oh, we got another stick right there. Beautiful. And some twigs. No, I don't need that. So what you saw there, folks, where it turned my cursor red. When you have a stick in your main hand like that, it basically gives you the option to till the ground as kind of a primitive hoe, which is fine. But you can use that to do farming and planting. So like if you want to plant some garlic or something nearby, that's how you would do it. You'd use that to till the ground and plant your garlic. Alright, well, let's get this fire going here. There we go, or at least ready to go. Cool. We're going to add our sticks from there. Add some sticks to this. Do I have any extra twigs? No. Okay, so let's do that. And if we just kind of keep an eye on our fish trap, you'll see eventually it'll catch some fish. The other thing we're going to go ahead and grab. Are you aggressive, piggy? You good, piggy? Just be a good piggy over there. Alright. Alright. Pig's not coming to be too friendly. Good. It's good. I was a little worried about it. I was going to go ahead and grab some chamomile flowers here. Simply because the chamomile is super useful. Again, you use it to, like, you know, make healing teas and stuff. The other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and chop up this tree, which you can put your axe on your belt, which is very handy that you start with a hatchet. I'm going to be honest, in any survival situation, starting with a hatchet's fantastic. It's very helpful. You know, just incredibly useful tool to have. And we also start with a decent quality knife. They're not in, like, perfect condition, but that's something you can fix later on as you get better tools for that. Like, as they wear down a little bit, we can use the piece of sandstone I picked up earlier to sharpen them a little bit. But long term, you're going to want, like, an actual, like, sharpening device for that. So I'm going to put this log here. I'm going to get this one and put it over here as well. So what I'll probably do is convert these to firewood and then use them to make a firewood stockpile. Because we're going to need a lot of firewood for the fire. And we're going to have to keep an eye on our character's tiredness and water. We're definitely going to have to work on getting some more water for our character here in a second. I'm kind of waiting to light the fire until we catch at least a couple fish. Because if we can get like 2 fish, we'll be pretty good. There we go. Let's take a look at our fire pit. How's this looking fuel-wise? Let's add one more. There we go. Alright. Actually, let's add that. There we go. Get ourselves a good little fire going. Let's start a stockpile of firewood. We'll just put it like right here. Let's go at nighttime now. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, go ahead and get some water, and basically start purifying some water here. Oh, we got some fish. Perfect. That was perfect timing. We can come over here. Yeah, let's actually go put the water on the fire first. Hold on. Come on. There we go. Alright, we'll do that real quick. Then we'll come over here. So you basically pick up the trap, and then you put the trap back down. There you go. And that'll keep you in fish. And then what we can do... Actually, I'll just go to the craft menu. It's just easier that way. So we'll get some bass, because we got some bass and some trout. So we'll just do 2 bass, and then we'll do our trout next. Oh, we even have some pine cones we can get the seeds out of. The candle wicks will be for later on. You can use your rope to make candle wicks, and that's for making candles. We're not to that point yet. But the candles are actually important for light sources as well as for some of the crafting later on for some of the storyline stuff. So notice these have a blight rating of like 0.6, 0.7. That's how much blight they're going to add if you were to eat them as is. But what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, put our axe away, because we don't need our axe right now. We're going to put the fish there. Do I still have my flint? I do. We're going to click this. We're going to look at this. Ignition short piece of flint. There we go. And we're going to ignite this. There's a bear in the background there. We will have to hunt a bear at some point, but not right this second. We are not ready for hunting a bear. And there we go. And now we can go ahead and just boil up this water, get that going. We're going to eat all these pine nuts while we wait. There we go. Then we can actually even put this chamomile over here and get it dried out. And if you'll notice, when we look at this, it's smoking that fish. That's going to reduce how much blight it generates. It's also going to make it last a lot longer. But there we go. So we're off to a decent start. Now, there's a couple things we're going to want pretty soon, structure-wise here. Like, we could make a stick crate for storage. And we're going to want a tanning frame pretty soon. But before we get the tanning frame, we're going to need this mud brick kiln. So we're going to need some mud bricks. And we'll work on that here in a minute, as soon as we get our character's thirst settled out. The reason we're going to need this mud brick kiln is that's going to let us do our first bit of pottery, which will let us make a better bowl for cooking. Now, I always keep the stone bowl because I use it as just like a frying pan, basically, and because it's not as efficient, but, you know, it helps. There we go. Nice. And we'll just go ahead and keep this here. We'll go down here and grab some more water. There we go. Get this water boiling up as well. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to grab some mud. Where's the mud? Nope, nope. Quit sliding down the rope. I saw mud around here. You know, there's some clay, so we'll take that clay real quick. Yeah, there's more clay we missed. Dirt, dirt, dirt. Don't want dirt. I want mud specifically. Here we go. There's mud. Let's grab all the mud. Now you can make mud with just some water and some dirt. But I find it just to be more efficient just to grab the mud when you can find it. Alright. Perfect. I'm going to drop this dirt real quick. Okay. Let's see how our smoked fish is going here. Smoking up nicely. Got 25% done. But what we're going to do is see how many we need. 20 mud bricks. We've got enough to make 20. So perfect. So we're going to go and just make the 20. There we go. Because again, the sooner we get this kiln done, the sooner we can do things like make nails, which will let us make the shovel, which we can then use to level the terrain, so we can actually level out a nice spot that'll be kind of our final house area. Matter of fact, you can even use it to build bridges over the river, as I recently found out from some people on the subreddit and stuff for this game. There we go. And if you're playing this game and you want to speed through things, you can do this. And it'll speed up time a little bit. But you always want to make sure you kind of turn that back off before you finish. Otherwise, that setting will stay. You won't be able to like pause and do things. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and drink that. Because staying on top of your water is very important in this game. Eventually, you know, I'll make like a water skin to carry water around with. There we go. There's that. And probably what I'll do here in a second is I'll check our fish again. See if we got any more fish. Because if I could get at least one more fish for the evening, which we did. There we go. And what we can do is we can actually just place this back down again. Right here. Perfect. There we go. I like that fish trap. See, the fish trap's just so good. Alright, so let's go ahead and go in here and see what we can make. So we got another trout. We'll go ahead and gut that up. And another bass. And this mud's also important because we can use that to make mortar for building more complex structures like an actual kiln, like a real proper kiln, which we'll need. This is just kind of a temporary kiln to get things done. There we go. Alright, and see, that also improved our meat handling. So let's start a stockpile for mud. We'll just put that like over here, kind of out of the way. And then, also kind of out of the way over here, we will build our kiln. So we'll just go ahead and, where's our mud kiln? Mud kiln, where are you at? We'll just build our kiln like right here. We'll turn it so it's facing like the hut here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and build that up real quick. There we go. And this will let us, you know, make our first, like, actual bits of pottery. Including a nail mold and an axe mold, so we can actually build a bronze axe and stuff. There we go. Beautiful. Let's check our fish. Yeah, we're getting there. Sort that out. Yeah, we got some more water ready for us to drink. Go ahead and drink that. There we go. And now what we'll do, before evening sets in too much, is we'll come down here and grab a little bit more water real quick. I mean, it is kind of late in the evening anyways. But we're going to make ourselves some chamomile tea. Matter of fact, we might actually need to go grab one or two more chamomile here. See if we can't find some real quick. Ginseng, nope. There's some chamomile. I think we'll probably need one more chamomile plant. There's a stick, we'll take that back with us. You can see the blight growing up there in the distance. Good equipping the stick in the offhand, or in the main hand there. Dandelions. Long stick, we'll take that. Whenever you're out and about, you always kind of want to keep an eye out for resources that you might need. Ah, here's some more chamomile. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and grab a little extra, too. There we go. Alright. So come back over here to the fire. Just toss these in the drying area. Add the sticks to the stockpile there. Beautiful. Alright. Still got 9 hours on the campfire. And we still got a little bit longer on this trout. It'll probably be alright till morning. One thing I am going to do is I'm just going to throw these pine cones in here. Just get them out of my inventory. And that also leveled up our fire tending, which is nice. Basically, that increases your chances of starting a fire, which, you know, if you're using a piece of flint and steel, it's already pretty good. Alright, so now we add this. So we got our dried chamomile, so we put it in here. So you see it's only weak. We want it to be at least strong, so it's going to take a little time for that to finish drying out. Matter of fact, what I'm going to go do is eat one of these sausages really quick to save ourselves from having to wait on our meat to finish cooking. We've got some soft clay here. Let's go ahead and put that in our clay. There we go. Matter of fact, what we could do is actually we'll just take some of this clay real quick. Nope, not put it away. And we'll do a little bit of pottery while we wait here. Alright, so let's go into our inventory. So things we're going to want. Candle's cool, but we don't need that right this second, per se. The axe mold might be nice. We do want this bowl, so let's go ahead and sculpt that bowl. We're also going to want this crucible at some point. We're going to definitely want this... no, we don't need the knife mold, per se. That needs a large kiln. Here we go. This nail mold is one that we're going to want. So let's... Actually, we'll make 2 of these. We're also going to want this saw blade mold. So let's see here. Let's grab one more thing of clay, and then we're going to go get this saw blade mold. Because that's kind of the next major thing we're going to want. There we go. And we'll put the rest of this clay away for now. And what we can do is come over here. Put that in there. We can put the nail mold in here. We can put the pot in here. I'll save this other nail mold for now. And we could actually... Matter of fact, we could actually go ahead and light that up here. Let's go ahead and get our hatchet out. We're having kind of a late night for our character while we try and get everything done. But we'll go ahead and light this kiln up. That way we can be on top of things. The next thing we're going to want from there is we're going to need a crucible to do some smelting, because I'm trying to push to get like some tools made and some nails. There we go. All right. Branches, sticks, twigs, all this stuff. Pine cone. Stick. Pine cone. There we go. Alright, so let's see here. Crafting. Let's go ahead and do all that. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and do all of this. And we'll also go ahead and make a saw handle, because that's going to be like the first tool I make, is a saw. Just because you need a saw to make a basin for your leather here. Let's see how ours... good. We've also got our first bit of smoked fish. Let's go ahead and throw the next round on there and get that going. Perfect. We're going to come over here to this kiln, and we're going to go kindling, 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 tinder. Take that out and go sticks, sticks. And we'll go ahead and light this thing up, because a couple sticks should be enough to fire these. And that's the other thing. This thing only uses sticks for fuel. It's very nice. The bigger kiln, you need charcoal, and we're not at the stage we're making charcoal just yet. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit extra fuel there. There we go. And then, let's get this out. Chop this up. Alright, that's the other thing I was going to show you. So the smoked fish, notice, it's not even like 0.1 on the Blight scale, whereas the raw fish is like almost 10 times more. So that's part of the reason you do the whole smoking of the fish, because it reduces the blight so much in it. There we go. Go ahead and chop up some more firewood, add it to the stockpile, and top off the fire here. So we'll just go ahead and add the fuel to this. Add. There we go. Our fire is in kind of a weird spot. That's what's causing the glitch there. That's part of the reason. You kind of want to build on level ground eventually. Alright, so there's that. We're going to start a stockpile of this here pine needles here. There we go. Throw the twigs in here for now. And let's see if we can actually make that chamomile tea. We can now. There we go. Throw that in there, and there's a strong one. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the strong tea. That's what will heal you up nicely. Actually, I'm going to take one of these out of here. Add that to the fire. There we go. There's basically a maximum amount of firewood you can have going in one time. And then what we can do is we can drink this, and it fills up our water, as well as gives us a healing buff for a while. And we can just actually just throw it back in here to hold on to it. So there we go. I don't want to smoke the last of this fish, but it's going to be a while. So let's go ahead and put our character to bed. So he's going to be tired anyways from the tea. So we got about 8 hours of sleep. There we go. That'll fix our energy. There we go. Yep. And we're well rested. We're good to go. Fish is all nice and smoked. Unfortunately, this fish rotted on us in the night. That's the other thing about the fish, is it doesn't last very long. But we'll just throw it in the campfire, so it'll be okay. Alright. Now let's come over here. Check our kiln. Yep, all of that finished up nicely. We'll throw this one in here. Save that. Perfect. And we have our nice new bowl. And we've survived today too. And we have another fish in there. We have 2 fish in there. So, I mean, you can see how powerful the fish trap is. We got tons of fish. Alright. So next up on our list, we need to get a crucible going. So let's grab some clay. And let's see what it takes to make the crucible. It takes 300, so we'll do that. There we go. Put the clay away. Throw the crucible in here to be fired with that. And then we're going to need to build, not a bloomery, but we will want a bloomery eventually. This crucible furnace. So that's going to take 15 clay bricks and a bunch of mud mortar. So let's grab some more clay. That's the other reason I kind of settled here, is because we're next to some clay. And then once we get the clay, we'll work on getting the crucible done. Go. Dirt. I miss any clay. Dirt. Dirt. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what we can do clay brick wise here. Clay bricks. How many can we get? 5. Alright. Now we'll have to fire these. But this crucible furnace is what we're going to need to do any kind of smelting. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Let's come over here. Top this off. There we go. And we'll go ahead and throw some kindling in there. And let's just take 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Come on. There it goes. Come on. There we go. And a couple twigs will get us done. Alright. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and knock down this small tree real quick. Just get a little bit more firewood. But we're not going to go too much longer just because I don't like my videos going on for more than an hour. Matter of fact, I'm going to start trying to shoot for a little shorter time frame for the most part. But, there we go. Come on, pick all this up. Alright, there we go. All kinds of rabbits running around today. Defaulted to range attack. Oh, I didn't know that that button did that. So I just hit the V key by accident. I didn't realize that defaulted me to ranged attack. There we go. Alright, so that's how you change your default attack. Good to know. There you go. We have learned something together, folks. There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw the sticks in there. The other thing we're going to do is tear all the pine needles off that. Oh yeah, let's also go back into our healing thing. You see this is all healed up nicely. We can recover this. And then what we can also do is we can actually recover the rope from this bandage, which is something I like to do. Because it also keeps you from using these already used bandages, which is a thing that could happen. There we go. And we'll go ahead and ignite that. Get that going there. Because I want to get this going so I can actually start doing some more different types of work here. So we got our fish there. We don't really need those. We'll actually go ahead and eat one of these smoked fish. Just because it's a really good food source. Well, we'll eat a couple of them. This is why you kind of need more than one. And again, you can actually throw these in a sealed jar. It'll make them last longer, too. There we go. There, done. Like, we are nice and topped off on food there. So this garlic's important because you can use that to make, you know, higher quality foods. We got a dead rabbit here. Let's see what we got. Oh, man. Let's go ahead and harvest this up. It looks like the coyote killed a rabbit over here, but then didn't eat it. That's unusual. Normally they only leave you, like, the hide. But we'll take the hide because we can use the hide to make some leather later on. But we're going to have to get, like, a tanning setup going. Which, again, is going to require us to get that crucible furnace going. I mean, we could also use it to make meat. Or to make sausages. But I don't have salt to cure them or a way to cure them right now to make the cured sausages. But it's also a little contaminated. There we go. And we'll take the bones. See, there's a coyote that probably killed him. Alright, I was going to come over here and look for some more clay. But I didn't realize the coyote was just hanging out, like, right here. Alright, well, we'll head back this way then. And actually, I'll show you one of the things we can do. So grab a little bit of dandelions here. We need 6. Also grab this garlic as well. I'm going to go grab these blueberries since we're foraging a little bit. And it's right here. There we go. We'll just go ahead and eat all of those. And eat all of those. And where's my garlic thing? Let's make our cloves separate. I'm going to show you how you cook a nice rabbit. Took me a little bit to figure this out too. Yep, there's a crow. So that crow was delivering a letter. You can see the letter on the ground here. We're going to take these bones that we gathered, we're going to throw them here, dry them out. And then we're going to go ahead and just drink all that to top off our water. It's going to make us a little tired, but it's okay, because we need this to cook salt out of the dandelions. We'll grab this letter real quick and go ahead and just read it. And this is kind of the start of the storyline. We've seen the smoke, your smoke from afar. We'll meet you in 2 days. And basically, someone's going to show up in 2 days to talk to us. Then we can actually just throw this in here. There we go. Let's see here. How's our kiln going? Oh, good. Our bricks are done. So there's this other nail thing here. And now what we can do is we can start working on... Where is it? See, this is the soaking basin we're going to need. We're going to need that for making leather. Oh, you can also make a wooden chest. Sturdy wooden chest. Things I didn't notice before. Alright, so we need this right here. So we're going to need this. And so what I'm going to do... Turn my screen a little bit so I can see a little better. Where's the front? I suppose it doesn't actually matter where the front is. So we'll just put it there. There we go. Alright, then we can come over here. We can actually add in these other bricks. There we go. And in fact, I'm going to go grab a little bit of firewood here. There we go. Because I want those bricks done. There we go. Add fuel. We'll see if that finishes. And there's our crucible, which we're going to need. Alright. So we should have our salt now, which we do. So goes rabbit. Then 4 garlic cloves. And then 60 salt. And you get a flavorful rabbit. Which gives you a bonus of, faster stamina recovery and, in general, better food value for your rabbit. Otherwise, you can just cook the meat as is as well. And we're going to go ahead and do that. Just because that'll give us some nice food there. Alright, so we also need some more clay. Let's start with that. So, go ahead and make some more clay bricks. There we go. And let's come back over here to our kiln. Unfortunately, this kiln being a little small, you can't really fit too many clay bricks in it at once. I could have done 2 more. Hold on. There we go. Get these in there while we can. Alright. Let's see here if we can't get some more sticks into the kiln here. 2 more sticks. Should keep it going for a little bit. Hopefully long enough to actually finish this. We'll see. Now the other thing we're going to need to do is I'm going to put these molds down. So what it's telling you here is this will let you make a bronze saw blade, but it only comes out at 50% condition. And which is perfectly fine. Like, you can absolutely, like, make use of that. The difference is you'll have to basically fix it up after you make it into a saw. And same with the axe that this makes. And then I'm just going to place... You're not going to let me place that down, are you? Okay. Alright, there we go. Let's go ahead and chop this tree up. It's kind of in the way. Oh good, our rabbit finished. There we go. Pick that up. Pick that up. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put these down here. Yeah, because unfortunately the kiln is too small to take like firewood. Alright, so let's add that to the fire right there. Beautiful. We're going to just add all this to the fire. So we're going to try and keep a stockpile of firewood around. Because again, we're going to need that for making charcoal anyways. How's this doing? Yeah, so we can get some more fish here going real quick. Where's my trap? There it is. Look at that. We already got 3 fish waiting on us to smoke them. Alright, and we'll go ahead and place that down. There we go. Let's see here. Fish. Got 2 trout and 1 bass. Beautiful. The cool thing about the pine nuts is sometimes when you get them, they actually don't have any contamination in them, which is nice. I'll also go ahead and craft up these sausage casings. Not that I have any meat to make sausage out of, but it just makes them take up less space in your inventory. So, there we go. So like you can see, you can make sausage if you have casings, ground beef, and fat. The fat is actually very important for multiple things here. There we go. Let's come here to the rack. We'll smoke up this trout real quick. Get it going. There we go. Let's also get our rabbit. There we go. And like that's worth way more food than we need right now. But we can save it. So that's fine. It'll just be the next thing we eat. Chop up this stump real quick. I want to see if I can actually use this. We're going to do one last thing before we go. I kind of want to check something here on this kiln. If I can get this stump chopped before we run out of time there. I kind of want to see if we can use the scrap wood you get from chopping up stumps in the kiln as a fuel source. So that's one of the things you can get, is scrap wood. I use it as a cheap fuel source when I'm just looking for something to use. Alright. Can I put this in here? I can. Alright. Good to know. Alright, how we doing? Add from inventory. Well, we're going to need a lot more clay. We're going to let that burn out for now. Let's go see if we can get past this coyote over here and look for a little bit more clay. Yeah, he's still over there. And there's another one, too. And there's the third one. There's a lot of coyotes around here. I mean, that's both good and bad. It's bad in the fact that it means we'll have to probably do a lot of fighting. It's good in the fact that it means we'll have lots of access to leather and meat. There we go. Alright, so we got some more clay right here, so that's beautiful. So we'll grab this real quick, and then we'll call it there. So we can see smelting. Now the main problem is we don't actually have any metal to smelt right now. So our first bit of smelting is going to be like copper and bronze. So we're going to need some tin, we're going to need some copper, or we're going to make some tin bronze, basically. And we're going to use that to make nails. Because we're going to need those we're going to use that to make nails and saws. Because we're going to need those going forward. I'll grab some more clay. I'll go ahead and grab this over here. Because we're right here at it. Because we also need the clay to... Not mud. Clay, please. We also need clay to make the mud mortar that we need to make this stuff. So there we go. Lots of clay. Lots of clay. Alright, I think we're out of clay. There we go. Oh, there's a neat little pond over there. Right next to a whole bunch of blight. So the ginseng also restores energy stuff, and you use that for medicines. But thank you all for joining me today. We're going to call this there, and apparently I'm going to finish this up with a fight with the coyote. We got a good hit. Got him. Alright, how injured are we? We actually didn't pick any wounds up, so we're going to go ahead and harvest this guy up here. So there we go. That's a coyote. We got lucky there. We didn't get any wounds that we had to treat, which is always fantastic. I actually really like hunting the coyotes and the bears with a spear once I have that option. Because the spear just gives you a bit of a range advantage, and you can kind of keep them at range and not get hurt. Matter of fact, once you kind of figure it out, you can actually hunt the bears without any problem. And now what I like to do with this coyote meat is I like to cut it into jerky, basically, and smoke it. Now the problem is, this coyote meat, it always is very high in blight. Notice that's a +7 on the blight there. It's super rough. And the animals kind of get more infected over time. It's a real problem. Because again, you know, the blight is spreading. The other good thing is we got a bunch of animal fat, which means we can actually make like a torch now, which is good. So we'll make a torch later on. And then we'll also make, you know, we can also use that to make tallow. Oh, we've run out of bones. We're running out of space. You see that? All right. That's fine. We don't really need the bones right now, per se. But there we go, folks. Let's get back to base, and we're going to call it right there. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. This has been unrecorded, bringing you all some more The Last Plague Blight, which is a fantastic little game. I enjoy this game quite a bit. And one of the things I recently learned, so you notice this is our world map that it generated for us, right? So all these locations are set. These are little towns and stuff that are all covered in blight. And somewhere on the map there's like survivor camps, and then there's also the guys who sent us the letters that give us the storyline. What I didn't know and learned while reading some stuff on the game today as I was doing some exploring is you can actually just leave the map. Like all this area outside the map, technically explorable. You can explore that. There'll be stuff out there, resources, etc. And it's all it just randomly generates it as you explore. It makes new chunks. Each time you basically head to new chunks. It does mean your save file can get really big, but I thought that was an interesting tidbit. So props to the developer on that. Like that's a lot of really awesome work that they've done. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this content, and we'll catch you all in the next one.